Hello everyone. What I wanted to tell you is about connected an idea about starting and stopping. And I wanted to give you my idea of that. And this idea will help you a lot because what I'm telling you is there is no start and there is no stop. And even more than that, I'm also telling you that when, for example, you want to reach a goal, it seems to you first that you have to cross the gap in order to reach that goal, that something separates you from that goal. But I can tell you that this is not like that. This is different. The gap does not exist. Stop does not exist. Start does not exist. The gap does not exist. And the only thing that exists is development and change. You have already probably heard about starting and stopping and about gaps. And the word change might be very familiar to you too. I agree with that. But are you confident enough in reaching your goals, even the smallest ones, even those connected with your education or some simple daily goals, maybe? Maybe yes. Then you can consider your biggest goals. If no, welcome here. Now, let's talk about a different thing first. You all know what a hiccup is. It's when you inhale unwillingly, all of a sudden. Sometimes that happens. And sometimes uh, it sometimes it goes away by itself, but sometimes you have to, stop breathing for a little bit or drink a lot of water before it goes away. And yeah, it's not very convenient sometimes when it happens at certain definite points of our life, because we might have different important events, and if a hiccup is out there and we cannot cope with it, this is pretty inconvenient. But I'm not going to give you a better solution against the hiccup. This time, probably some other day. But today, I just want you to consider the lexical meaning of hiccup and to play with words a little bit. Because sometimes childish playing is connected with serious things and is actually not childish playing. It only seems to be like this. And so what does it actually mean? A hiccup, lexically and linguistically, also means interruption, disruption, or a pause. And it has a list of synonyms. And one of the synonyms is gap. And we've spoken about gaps. It seems to you that a gap separates you from your goal, from one of your goals. If you have your small goals, you can still have a big goal. And probably you even don't have a big goal because you say you're sure that you don't need any big goal because there's going to be a big gap between you and that goal. This is why you just don't even attempt at this goal. You say that you don't need it. And that's okay. It's up to you. But probably you would like to change your opinion. Probably not. It's up to you. But who knows? Maybe you do. Then consider the antonym of hiccup is continuation, duration, development. You know what continuation is? It's the process of growing. And what do we need to reach the goal? We need, what do we need? We need to grow, we need to develop, we need to change in a certain way because we see why we are not there right now, and we also see what we need in order to still get there. Thus, we know what changes we need. But we still might think that this is sort of a bridge. But I tell you, it's different. There's no bridge because there's no need in the bridge because there is no gap. It doesn't exist. And why does it not exist? Remember what I said in the beginning. There is no start and there is no stop. You should know about this. Just remember how it goes. Remember this idea. When you start something and then stop it to start something else, what do you actually do? It's pretty simple. I use the simplest explanation possible of this elaborate concept. I'm using the easiest explanation possible. You change from one state to another. So you do not start another thing, and you do not stop the previous one, but you just change. You change one thing into the other. You develop it, you continue. It's the process of continuation, development, and growing. But you see, if you take the concept with a start and with a stop, and then another start and another stop, there's kind of interruption. And this interruption, so interruption is hiccup, and the synonym of hiccup is gap. Here's your gap that you're having right now. And then look at this concept of starting and stopping that do not exist. The concept of non-existence, of starting and stopping. See what you have? Instead of saying that you stop and you start, try to say that you change from this thing to this thing, from doing this to doing this, and so forth. As long as you have an inkling to say stop, just pause for a bit and change this word by the word change. And you will notice how it happens. It's the magical words. We changed the stop and start by one word, the word change. And the hiccup disappeared. There's no hiccup anymore because changing, it is a process, a continuous process. And hiccup is an interruption. And if there is a process, there is no interruption. And the synonym of hiccup is gap. And if there is no hiccup, there is no gap. And this means that the gap does not exist. The gap between us and the goal, it does not exist. And we do not need any bridge. All we need is the process of changing. And this is the process of development, developing and growing. It's up to us how we do this. But keeping it in mind that we are not divided by a gap. And all we are doing is just the process of changing and becoming closer and closer to the goal, just in order to the process. And it is much easier then. You crossing the gap, or using a bridge, or building a bridge, or are you just developing? and doing certain things in order to develop. Much easier, right? So it's a psychological thing. And mind you, it is useful. And so there's no need to refuse the big goals. If you don't want to change them, up to you. But sometimes you pause even in front of some small goals just because you think of a gap. Subconsciously, you don't exactly put the word gap, but you might certainly separate yourself from it by some excuse or by something. But try to change it. Change this excuse and let it not be the gap, but be the process. You analyze this excuse and you understand how you can cope with it and change it in such a way that it is not an obstacle, but just a thing that you can go through and still reach your smallest goal ever. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you like the idea, I wish you good luck with practicing it. All the best. Goodbye.